Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Supersonic. I'm primarily a Sonic speedrunner, but for today we are going to be speedrunning Animaniacs on the Sega Genesis. This is going to be the easy difficulty, and we're going to try to finish this game in about half an hour. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right to it, shall we? Alright, here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so as we're starting off, we're in the Warner Tower. We're just getting out of it because we always escape out of there. And this is the introduction stage in which it'll pretty much go through what each character does. So Yakko will be able to push and pull big objects as well as use a paddle ball to stun enemies. Wakko has the ability to break things as well as ignite, like cannons and such. And then Dot uses her charm to pretty much immobilize male counterparts. So just like that, we're already in stage 1 since that introductory stage is really short. So we're going to be switching through the characters quite a bit here in this run. It is pretty much like Sonic Hero style in a way. So you have like your speed, your power, and your light character. Like, you want to think of it that way, but there's like different abilities for each character. So this is pretty much pre-Sonic Heroes. It is a strictly platformer game. And yeah, there's only like 5 stages, I believe, total, and then there's like a final boss fight. Yeah, we're just going through the Indiana Jones like style studio here. So normally in like actual PB attempts, you want to take intentional deaths at the water here. The reason being is when you have 1 life left, it'll actually make the score countdowns a lot quicker. But for marathon safety, we're going to be keeping all of our lives. So in the trade-off there, we're just going to be sitting through the score countdowns a little longer, which is okay. It's like not a big deal. And here we got Ralph the security guard. We're going to be seeing him quite a bit in this game. As far as this stage goes, there's a lot of auto-scrollers here, so really not much to do here except just kind of wait around, just wait for things to happen, so on and so forth. So, and while they're in their idle state, they just do like various different things. So we're just gonna take a damage boost on that drill. Doesn't take much health since we are on easy. If we were playing on a harder difficulty, we would take more damage off of that. And yet we have another auto-scrolling section, which is the train. We're gonna go ahead and bring the tracks down. We're gonna grab a banana for safety health, because we have one more screen after that, and then we got our first boss fight of the game. Great time for a donation, yeah. I know, right? Yeah, like this stage is perfect for stuff like that. But anyways, I hope everybody's having a great Friday so far. I hope you all are enjoying License-a-thon. It's a pretty neat concept of showing various Sega games, or I guess various licensed games on the Sega, like various Sega consoles. So in our case, we're on the Sega Genesis, which is the first, I guess the second console I actually owned growing up. I got Sonic 2 with it when I was a kid. I used to rent this game a lot, and then eventually I ended up owning the game, and then years later I started speedrunning this. So I've been speedrunning this game for about 4 years now, maybe 5, somewhere around there. Off and on mostly, but it's a very cute platformer. There's like a lot of references from the cartoon show, and we will be seeing the nurse later on in this game and seeing some other cameos from other cartoon characters. So in this stage in particular, we're going to stay as Wakko here for the boss fight, and we're going to be seeing Ralph a lot. In this section here, right after we open this door, we're going to have these seesaws. It's going to be launch the boulder right up to Ralph's crotch. Sometimes he'll move faster for a big guy, so he's pretty agile. But after we beat him up, we're going to go ahead and grab our first artifact, which is Indiana Jones's hat. So the gist of this game is we're pretty much going through each studio, taking back whatever it is we stole from the studios. So in this case, we're taking back Indiana Jones's hat in this level. The next level, we're going to be taking a helmet from like the quote-unquote Star Wars movie. Then we got like a star from the Western movies, and then Jason's mask for the horror movie. So in essence, we're pretty much all in the same area. Like we're in the Warner Brothers studio, except we're just kind of going through different sections of the studio. So here we are in our space level. We got Solly the God Pigeon there. I still never understood what he would say, like even in the cartoons, he'll just talk gibberish, but yet the good fellas, or good feathers, would know what he's talking about. So we got like this little slow platform here. Those lasers are actually RNG, and they could actually hit you, but with Dot, she has a small hitbox, so you can actually avoid them a little easier. So just gonna go ahead and cut through here. Yeah, right in the boulders, yeah, exactly. We're just gonna go ahead and take that damage boost. That doesn't really take a lot. And then we're gonna be wading through this section here. So this screen is pretty much pointless. It's just kind of trying to avoid Ralph. But with Yakko, you can just pretty much stun him with the paddle ball. Kind of see him doing this little spastic movement here. In those treasure chests, they contain either stars, which really do nothing. And they have health items too, in which you can recover your health in case you need it. But other than that, this is just an automated section. Once we see this background fade away, we can continue forward here. And he'll just kind of yeet off the screen from that asteroid. Alright, next section. Gonna be hearing Undertaker's gong. Gonna go ahead and skip over to this way. You can see the aliens in the background as well. We actually did a life skip there, so normally if we end up missing that, we would have to do the intended way, in which we would have to kind of maneuver the blocks together, kind of like a puzzle segment, and just create just a way to get up there. So we pretty much saved a lot of time just by doing that. Alright, so you kind of see that I brought the paddle ball. So what I'm doing there is I'm holding the action button to do a button buffer, and that way Yakko will be able to grab like whatever is in front of him right away, instead of having to go right up against it and then push the A button. But if he's like facing right into it, then you know you can just kind of push into it. But when pulling things, you can just button buffer there and just grab it right away, which is pretty nifty. So here for this section, we're going to switch to Dot. This door does open really slow. There's no way to speed this up, so we're just going to wait for it to open at a specific spot. And then right about here, we're going to move, and there's the nurse. Hello, nurse. Alright, now we switch over to Wacko here. See a bit of a nod to Sonic 2 here, Chemical Plant Zone, with these rotating platforms. Alright, now we're going to just go over here, break this, and then we're going to activate this switch to make the elevator move. And we pretty much just cut like a huge section, because the game just tries to make you do a lot of nonsensical things just to get around it. And now we're going to stand on the ATST here. Everything's on fire. And for whatever reason, like our health items are going to be ice cream, and they're pretty much out in the fire there. So I have no idea how they're not melting. So we're just going to say it's Konami logic, because this game was made by Konami. Alright, and there's like another ice cream in case you need it, but we're already at full health. So the top left corner of your screen, that is our health. They have different expressions. So you have like a really happy face, then you have like a kind of a mellow face, then a worried face, and then just a dead face. So pretty much like 4 to 5 HP that you have in terms of health. And if you're like on the dead face, then sometimes it can flash too, which is pretty much critical. So we're just gonna get through Ralph here. Just go up on this level here. I'm gonna go ahead and use the paddle ball and break the lights if we need to, but just like that, we're done with the level. This game is too hard. I remember when I played this casually, it was pretty difficult at first, but after playing it properly and actually beating the game, then I figured, you know what, if I speedrun this, so I eventually learned it for a speedrun, and actually, it's pretty nice. It's pretty straightforward. It's mostly movement and execution. Don't have to worry about glitches yet, because we haven't really found any glitches for this game. And also this part we just gotta wait. I don't want to take any damage here, because I am going to go for a big damage boost later on. So we got these rabid horses here. And then somehow Ralph makes it over here, has a lasso for us, but we're just gonna stun him with the paddle ball. Then we got Mindy and Buttons just kind of chilling there, I guess. There are instances where we could put Mindy and Buttons together, but it's slow doing that, so we're just gonna leave them the way they are. And also, if you notice, like whenever you do a character shift, like right before a screen transition, as long as the picture is flashing, the character change is successful. Otherwise, it'll just keep you as the current character you were at, even when you're trying to switch. So now we got the tavern section here. We just passed Flavio and Marita, the dancing hippos. They're causing a ruckus over there, you know, creating a bunch of earthquakes. That's what they can do. Then we got Mindy and Buttons, and don't worry, no child or dog are harmed in the making of this video game. Everything is totally fine. So this is the section where I needed to keep my health to do the damage boost here, because the game intends you to move all those blocks around to create a platform, but we're just going to go right through the fire there and just skip all that section. Alright, now we're gonna just go over here, and we got these Yoku blocks to deal with. I'm not sure if we're gonna get the proper cycle here. No, we did not, so I'm just gotta wait for it to come up. Right there, there we go. I'm just gotta wait for these other blocks to be in line to where we need to go. Like, this stage is pretty, like, based on RNG for the most part. But nothing too hectic until we get to the boss fight. And of course they have like an extra life right by the fire, so they just expect you to jump into it and then immediately die. So. Alright, just gonna wake up Mindy with the paddle ball, switch over to Dot to kiss Solly the God Pigeon, and then switch over to Wacko. Jump into here. So, again, another skip to where we don't have to go to the bottom section. Alright, now this is phase 1 of 2 boss fights here. So we're gonna stay as Wacko for the time being. And this part is really annoying because this pie launcher is absolutely stupid. And I hope I can get some decent RNG, which I do not. So this, like, doesn't matter where you hit this pie launcher from, it tends to kind of go wherever it wants to. And we haven't really found a good way to keep it to where you need it to be. Like, even if you try to, like, time it properly, in which I did get lucky there. Most of the time that section can take forever, but thankfully that was fairly quick, so. And now we get to this section here, which is another automated session. And this is a quote-unquote boss fight, but all you need to do is just avoid Ralph. And that lid up top for the coal to go in, that is RNG as well. There's no way to control it. So you have to put the coal in the chute to make the train go faster, and you want to prevent Ralph from getting on top of it. If he does end up getting on it, you can just use Wacko's mallet to get him off. So what we need to see here is Ralph needs to jump. Like, he needs to attempt to jump on the plane, or not the plane, the train, sorry. And if he misses, it's going to initiate him to kind of run on the tracks to try to catch up to us. But in the meantime, yeah, there we go. Now we got the jump there, so now we're just gonna see Ralph just move his legs really quickly, and then we're just gonna stand up on here because he's gonna trip and fall like an idiot. Mild discomfort, yeah. That's how you can think of it with the health screen. Alright, so we finished 3 stages so far. Now we're heading into the horror stage. It's like, you know, you got the Grim Reaper, you got, you know, Jason's mask, and then you got a haunted house, Dracula, pretty much everything you can think of in terms of horror. So what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna switch over to Dot and just kind of stun the Grim Reaper, because apparently you can blow a kiss at the Grim Reaper and he'll be inactive for a while. So we're gonna do here, if we can get it. Ah, I just missed it. So what I tried to go for there is the hay bale skip. What it does is while you're switching to another character, you can actually skip the part where the, you know, like the clown thing there, it'll take you back to the beginning of the level. But we ended up missing that, which is okay. It's like, we'll just have to deal with this now. So we just did whatever the game intended us for, for us to do. Yeah, this stage is pretty much like your puzzle stage in a way. Just kind of moving things around, make sure like it's on the right thing. And then we got some trees flipping the bird. I'm sure like if any of us have ever played this game before, probably haven't noticed that. Alright, so we got these books that are floating around. Sometimes they can be much slower. In this case, they weren't. So we got good book RNG. Now we're going to switch over to Dot because, as you saw, Dracula is going to show up here. And we're just going to blow a kiss at him to mobilize. And that is the optimal way to kind of shoo him away for a bit. Because we're going to see him again later. Now we're just going to break that, that pillar. And then we're going to meet up with Pinky and the Brain here, and this is another automated section. So they got their little French horn contraption, in which they did showcase in the cartoon before. I don't remember which episode it was exactly, but that contraption was there. So you kind of see that it's kind of smoking a bit there, and while they're taking a bunch of these plates and bases, it's progressively getting worse, and then it's gonna blow up. And we can continue further. Alright, so now we got this section here. We're just gonna go ahead and drop these blocks out of order for now. And that is going to open the door on the left. Because as you see, there's a door on the right that we need to get through. However, we have to put those blocks into order. And we're gonna use that other block to create a step for us. So we'll just go ahead and put things in order this time. And of course we're going to use Yakko for this because he's the only one that can push blocks to any direction. Alrighty, that opens the right door. And we can continue forward. Now we're in the sewer area. So we're going to go ahead and grab this block here and take it over to the platform. As you can see, there's like a skull shape on the sign. If we go in the water, that's an instant death. We don't want to do that. There's actually a faster way to jump on that button. It's frame perfect, but we're not going to have to worry about that. We're just going to go ahead and drain this water here. And we are pretty much forced to grab this extra life, which is good, but at the same time, like in the speedrun, you don't want to have a lot of extra lives because of the score countdown that I mentioned earlier. But they are pretty good to have, like, especially in the casual playthrough. Alright, so we're going to be approaching the boss fight now. It will be Dracula, so we're going to use Wacko for this one. And we're going to do a bit of a manip here. This is actually the slower style of the manip. As long as we're across from where he's going to jump, we're just going to keep him there the entire time. And you kind of see like there's arrows pointing to which direction those boards are going to fall. So for this, we're just going to keep him on the top right corner and drop him on his butt about 7 times, and then he'll be dropping the mask for us. And there we go. That's the end of that stage. Yeah, the clouds look really cool. Alright, so we did our 4 stages, and now we're going to be entering the big stage, if you will. This is the Edgars. So this is like their award show. So if you want to think of it like a Mega Man game, yeah, this is like your Wily stage right here. So this stage is actually very difficult. It is very easy to die as well on some of the screens, but hopefully that won't happen here. But we do have plenty of lives that we can use up if needed. So we're going to hold the jump button to get more height off of that launch. And then this elevator, since there are flames blowing, we are going to take intentional hits. So there's 2 of them that we're going to take. Okay, so there's that second one there. And then we're going to go into this door. And we see Pinky and the Brain, and we're just going to launch them up to where that generator is. And we're going to listen for an audio cue really quick. Right there. Then switch over to Dot. So yeah, even though it looked like that electric thing should have clearly killed me, But since I use an audio cue, we wouldn't have to hit the button again in order to kind of put the elevator back down and back up. So that's a bit of a time saver right there. I'm gonna push that block a little bit this way. And then a little mini puzzle here for these blocks. Alright, and just kind of go through that gap there. Okay, this section is actually pretty deadly. Because there's like these platforms, and then there are debris falling from the sky. We got Flavio and Marita dancing in the top of the apartment building somehow. I don't know how it's like supporting their weight, but it's pretty neat. Then we got Slappy the squirrel back there. She's just, you know, being her old sassy self. Alright, but yeah, that platform section I did just now. That is actually the faster variant, which is very dangerous, but especially with that one boulder just kind of landing on our heads, but we managed to land on the platform, which is really lucky. Because sometimes if we get hit, it'll just send us straight down into the pit, but thankfully that didn't happen there. Alright, so now we're heading into this section in which the screen's going to be blowing up on the left side, so we just gotta get away from it. We're going to grab the safety health because we are pretty low on HP. And we're going to grab this block here, and yes, they have a 1-up there as a troll. Also, that was not good. We should be fine, I think. Yeah, because if we get caught in the explosion, we will end up dying, so we don't want to do that. There we go. Let's switch over to Yakko. So now we got this helicopter. It's gonna shoot these windows here, and the shards of glass deals 2 damage, so if I end up getting hit by one of those, I will end up dying. Okay, there we go. And then we got these fireballs here. We could actually get rid of them by breaking open those hydrants. They do create a lot of lag as well, in which we normally don't break them open, except for this one section here, because it is mandatory to break that. Because we need to move this block over to the right here, otherwise we won't be able to make it up on that ledge. And we're gonna grab this chicken here for safety. Watch out for these fireballs. I got some pretty good RNG there. Now we got Steven Spielberg in the director's chair. Get on this car to crash the CEO's party, or his award ceremony thing. And now we gotta sit through about 2 minutes for this cutscene, and it is unskippable. Like, I'm pushing the star button here to skip cutscenes, it doesn't happen. Although the one thing about this is if you end up beating the game the first time and then playing through it again, you can actually skip this cutscene. But unfortunately, we don't have a New Game Plus category for this game yet. Maybe sometime in the future we may end up doing that. But this is pretty much talking about, you know, Pinky and the Brain trying to take over the world as always. So they're the final bosses of this game, and we're going to be approaching the final boss right after this cutscene here. Yeah. Yeah, grab your popcorn, you know, chill out. You know, are you pondering what I'm pondering, Pinky? But that's that. I don't know, I can't even talk as Pinky anymore. Like, I used to know, like, when I was younger, but yeah, like, we were trying to get the stuff that, you know, that we stole from the studio themselves, and they stole it from us, so we gotta get them back. Say, we're not rats, we're mice. So yeah, I do like the animations for this. Like, they're very spot on with the cartoon. It's very well done. It would have been pretty cool if they had like voice acting back in the Genesis days, because I know they had like digitized voices for a lot of other games, but I'm sure that probably would have cost a lot more to do those. But needs more narf, yeah. Exactly. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Pinky? Yeah, how do we teach a sardine to speak Russian? And then he'll be like, I shall have to hurt you soon. Alright, here we go. Now we got the boss fight coming up. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to start off as Dot first, and then we're going to change to Yakko and then Wacko. We're going to keep on doing that cycle until he's dead. Well, not really dead, but you know what I mean. I guess we say until they're dead because video games. Alright, so what we're going to have Dot do is we're going to immobilize Pinky when he brings out a bomb. And what that does is Pinky is not going to light it up. So we can push it with Yakko and then blow it up with Wacko. So we just end up doing this until he breaks off into his second phase here. Okay, and now we're heading into the second phase in which the top half breaks away. And then the legs are just kind of moving on their own, so... Oh, jeez. Also, the legs can also damage the top half, too. As you can see, like, they just did a kick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just get damaged. No big deal. Okay, I definitely want the legs to stay nearby. There we go, that's the fight. And then the run finishes once we grab the last artifact. Here we go. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is time. And that, my friends, is Animaniacs on the Sega Genesis. I don't know how long that took me because I wasn't timing it, but... I'll say like roughly 26, 27 minutes or something like that. But yeah, there you go. That's the video game in under 30 minutes. I hope you all enjoyed the run there. And yeah, my name is Supersonic. If you guys would like to check out more stuff that I do, you can follow me at twitch.tv/supersonic_. I'll say hi in the chat, so that's me right there. But yeah, thanks again for having me. We'll go ahead and move on to the next game if they're ready.